Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Astrology with your friend Gretchen Heidel, full-time astrologer, life coach, Reiki master, and so much more. I am here tonight live on Monday. It is the full moon night on, on November 27th, 2023, and I'm going to be going over this week in astrology, all of the fun happenings going on from starting today all the way until December 4th, 2023. So welcome if you're just joining live. I apologize, my technology was a little weird, which is funny because last week when we were talking, I was predicting that this particular full moon may in fact feel like a mini Mercury retrograde, and I am experiencing that live tonight. So welcome if you're just joining. Yay, Rita Virgo in Colorado, first one to comment. Thank you so much. I wasn't sure if it was going to be working or not because I was having some technical difficulties. So hopefully you are hearing me live. I am co-recording for Facebook and for YouTube. I'm here every Monday night on Facebook at 8 p.m. Eastern time. If you on my Astrology Updates by Gretchen Heidel page, or I do post the replay, which you can catch on YouTube as well. So you are awesome if you're just joining me. Thank you, Andrea. Yay, Aries, Gemini, Cancer from Vermont. Awesome. So thank you so much if you're just joining. Please comment below your astrological sign, where you're tuning in from. A lot of the regulars know what to do already. Hey, Kelly, happy full moon. Yay, Leo in New York. Welcome. Yes, so we are in the full moon night. We are past the peak now. Thankfully, I don't know if anybody experienced any kind of happenings this weekend. This past weekend was a doozy. There was so much going on astrologically this past weekend that it was kind of a little, hair raising, if you will. I've been talking about the pack of planets that are moving. They went from the Sun, Mars, and Ceres, went from moving together in Scorpio. Now they're moving, and they have moved all last week into Sagittarius. So we've been feeling this. Welcome everybody, Melinda, Wendy, Kirsten, congratulations, by the way. Sarah, welcome, to Sarah's. Yeah, it was a doozy. So especially when we get Mars involved, Ceres is pretty cool. The Sun is definitely cool, but Mars, not so much. Ironically, the Sun is not actually cold in temperature. It's quite hot, but you know what I mean. It's like a more positive planet. But when we get into Mars is the god of war. And we saw, a rise in some violence this weekend. Some people were having some arguments with spouses or loved ones. There was a lot of things going on. So we had, just to recap, last week on Wednesday, November 22nd, we started Sagittarius season. And then on Friday, the 24th, Mars went into Sagittarius. And then on Saturday, the 25th, Ceres went into Sagittarius. So all three of these have been really going at it. And then what they're doing is they were all squaring Saturn at the same time. So especially this weekend, Mars formed a square with Saturn, and that's one of my least favorite. When Mars does anything with Saturn, it's kind of one of my least favorite times, because Saturn is like the brakes in a car and Mars is like the accelerator pedal. And so it's like we're pushing both at the same time and we're not getting anywhere very fast. And it can be a little frustrating. It can be anger inducing. It can be spitefulness. It can be all these things. And it really requires a lot of mindfulness to be able to move through this, in a positive way, and in a way where we can harness the higher vibration of it, which is to give us energy. Sometimes people get extra energy from it, especially Mars being around in Sagittarius, because Sagittarius is a more physical sign. So a lot of times we'll get a rise in physicality. I did exercise and work out and did some things this weekend. So, that was helpful. But yeah, it's just, and then we led up into the full moon. So today was the full moon, the peak of it earlier today. We are coming, I created a mini video, a reel for this full moon in Gemini. If you guys caught that, I'd appreciate if you give it a thumbs up, because all of that stuff helps my channel greatly. Yeah, I know. Holly said there was a shooting in Burlington, Vermont. I mean, in Vermont, come on. I mean, no place is immune, obviously. But that is that type of rise of, sort of this ugliness, that ugly side of Mars that we don't like, which is that warlike side. So today we get into the height of the full moon. Now, the peak of the full moon, even of itself, can bring a rise in sort of some things sometimes. This was 4 degrees Gemini. The sun is 4 degrees Sagittarius. Sagittarius and Gemini are opposites, and this is what happens during all full moons. The sun and the moon are opposite of each other. It's an opposition, so it's like they're not on the same page, and that can create a lot of tension, a lot of just sort of a peak in energy. Now, it is a completion, an ending, a wrapping up of something, and sometimes that wrapping up can be a good thing. It doesn't have to be all negative or anything, but it's just that it requires a lot more consciousness because our nerves are a little bit on edge, it's like we were ramping up, getting into the full moon with this Mars and Saturn and all the stuff that was going on. And then now we're at the peak of it. So now that it's over, technically we're still in the bubble of it, but now that it's like kind of on the descent and we're coming down from the peak, it'll start to kind of a little bit relax, I guess, a little bit. Again, Gemini is, just to give a quick recap, today might have even had elements of a Mercury retrograde. I experienced that tonight preparing for my broadcast. I had a hard time logging on. Hey, Almir, Wendy said, hurry up and burn our happy list. Exactly. I love that. That's great. And so we have Gemini. So Gemini is ruled by Mercury. And today, behind the scenes, Mercury, the ruling planet of Gemini, formed a square with Neptune. So it's sort of strange energy because this Mercury is an increase of energy. This Gemini moon is an increase of energy. It's an increase of talking, emailing, texting, all the stuff, communicate. It's travel. It's all these different things. But then Neptune is like, has a little bit more of a floaty, dreamy, drifty quality about it. So even those are at odds with each other. You can hear that's very similar to that Mars-Saturn thing we're going through, where Mars wants to go and Saturn's the brakes. Mercury wants to go and Neptune wants to just call out sick, And so it's something that we have these kind of weird mixture of energies right now. So the energies can feel really wonky. Some people might experience it as the increase. Some people might experience it as the decrease. Some people might feel like uplifted and happy, and some people might feel down in the dumps. I mean, Neptune and Saturn can both make us feel a little bit down, blue, or depressed. Or Mars and Mercury can they're speedy, they're much more zippy. So it's very wonky. The energy of this is very wonky. I had put that in my video. I said, this energy is going to be very wonky. So this combination is all. And so if you are a Gemini, if you have a Gemini moon, this is your full moon. If you are a Gemini, if you have Gemini, Venus, Mars, it doesn't matter. You would be feeling this because the full moon, especially if you have anything in the beginning of Gemini, this full moon will be right on your stuff. Now, again, if you're a Sagittarius, you'll also feel this because you're getting this by opposition. I did a little research, and there's actually quite a few stars, famous people that were born with this full moon during this Sagittarius sun and Gemini full moon. Julianne Moore is one of them. Daryl Hannah is another one. We have Jake Gyllenhaal and Tina Turner or in Tina Turner's case, were all Sagittarius suns, Gemini moons. So they were born with this full time in their chart. Anytime you're born at the full moon, that means the sun and the moon are opposite of each other. And so that is basically those stars, those famous people that have this energy full time in their charts. So we just are getting a glimpse of it. And so that can be a little bit, feeling big. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, everybody that are joining. I love this. And you guys are doing great at the comments tonight. This is awesome. Like and share. And make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, because that does help me greatly in the algorithm and everything. So this is definitely the time to burn or destroy your new moon manifestation list. If you had written it from the last time, go ahead and burn it. I want to say honorable mention that this is also a good time to burn or destroy other things like old love letters or old, like I sometimes will create a little burn pile myself. I am in an area where I can burn things, but you can also do the same thing if you live, like, let's say downtown Manhattan. You could put this stuff through the shredder if you're unable to burn things. But I save sometimes things that I want to honor with a fire ceremony, and I will just release it. Fire ceremony just simply means I'm going to burn a bunch of stuff. And so that's something that we can do to release whatever it is that we want to do. We're sending it out to the universe and just asking the angels, spirit guides, guardians to just take care of it for us. And that's what we're doing. Hey, Ashley Jean. Oh, Jackie, you are the first star. 50 stars, Jackie. Thank you so much. You got my space clearing bell. Oh, thank you. She sent another 100 stars. I love that. Wendy said, that's funny, Wendy. She said she's going to burn after the broadcast, and she said, can you burn bad behavior? ? That's funny. Yes, I wish we could, right? But sometimes we want to release things. So remember, if you have something you want to release, you could even write it on a piece of paper and say, I would like to release now. We don't ever want to throw bad energy at somebody, so that's something that we want to keep in mind. We don't want to write let's say a person's name on and burn it. You don't want to do something like that. But you do want to maybe burn something that says, I want to release this toxic relationship, or I want to release this debt, or whatever thing it is, because we are in the releasing portion now of the month. For 2 weeks, we're in the gaining and harvesting portion, and then for 2 weeks during the full moon to new moon, which is where we're in now, we're in the releasing portion. We're letting go of stuff. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Another 50 stars. Oops, that was a good one, huh? So we want to release, let go, burn or destroy our list. And you can even do, I have said this before, but you can even do a very quick short list of things you would like to get rid of in your life. Let's say it's a bad health problem, or it's debt, or it's a toxic relationship or a toxic job or something like that. Now be prepared to, sometimes we get those prayers answered and then we're not prepared, and then that thing goes away and it's like, well, I don't have a new job yet, and so that you want to be careful with that type of stuff. But you can do that for sure. But you do want to, at the very least, burn and destroy your new moon manifestation list. And that is something. Oh, Nancy, thank you. 99 stars. Wow, you guys are starring me up tonight. I love that. The stars, by the way, are just a little way of giving a tip to the broadcast. It helps keep this content, living on. So thank you so much. So we have a lot of curiosity. We have a lot of flirtation. We have a lot of communication. We have all kinds of things. And we are wrapping up what started in the last new moon of Gemini, which started all the way back in July 18th of 2023. So what were you doing July 18th, 2023? Again, quick tip, you can look through your phone, your pictures on your phone, to see what was I doing during July 18th, because that will help you to kind of remember. Or if you keep a journal or something, you can always look back and just see what was going on in your life at that time. What were you trying to harvest? What were you trying to bring into your life? Oh, thank you, Holly. 100 stars. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. You guys are really giving me good stars tonight. Thank you. I appreciate it. So if you are a Gemini or a Sagittarius, you guys totally will be feeling this energy. And then the other Pisces and Virgo are going to be feeling it as well. That's going to be, right up in your stuff there. Also, if you're another air sign, so if you're an Aquarius or a Libra, you might be feeling activation energy going on. But there's a lot of energy to be had. And then again, this is what I always tell people. If you don't know your chart and you don't know How do Geminis affect you? Are you best friends with your Geminis? Are they your frenemies? I mean, like, what is a Gemini in your life? And how do you feel during Gemini season, which is like the end of May, getting into most of June? How do you feel around that Gemini time frame? And that will also tell you kind of how this type of energy affects you. But the full moon, remember, we're peaking, we're at the pinnacle. Now, I said we're going to calm down a little. And I'm not giving you false advertising. We are, but not until we do until we have some more energy here tomorrow to go through, because there's still more energy to be had. Okay, so on November 28th, 2023, tomorrow, Tuesday, Venus is going to form an opposition with the north node of the moon. Venus is in Libra. North node of the moon is in Aries. The north node of the moon is where we come from. So Venus is going to be conjunct the south node, which is our past life, past experiences, something from our recent past in our lifetime or a past lifetime. And then it's going to form an opposition to the north node of the moon in Aries. So if you think about it, Venus forming the conjunction with the south node means we're aligning with something in the past, something that should be in the rearview mirror. And then the opposition comes in from the north node of where we're supposed to be heading. That is our destiny. That is our really what we're supposed to do in this lifetime. So it's very hard when we have as like a little, like what I would call past life portal, right? It's a little bit hard to sometimes see through those types of things because the past is calling and the rear view mirror looks way bigger than normal. And Mercury retrograde's coming, which is also about the past. So we could get a little bit sucked into something that's old, again, either from this life or even has karmic ties to other lifetimes. People will often say to me when I say, oh, this is a past life, they're like, but is it this life too? And I'm like, it's all related. It's usually all related. So if you carried some, we'll call it baggage with us from another lifetime, yeah, it could show up in this lifetime as somebody that you have maybe a difficult relationship with or something like that. Now, the Venus is in Libra, South Node is in Libra, again, opposing the North Node, which is Aries. Aries is all about being self-sufficient, standing up on your own 2 feet, being independent. And Libra is a little bit about partnerships, but also can be codependent. So we have to just watch. We might get embroiled or sort of sucked into something there. Oh no, Ashley Jean said, Gretchen, for some reason I can't add the chat. Interesting. I don't know why. Yeah, we're having wonky energy. Like with this, I told you, with this full moon could be very much almost like a Mercury retrograde. Yeah, so Ashley Ann said Geminis are the best. Oh, good. You like that. That's a good sign for you. Very talkative. Yeah, I mean, both Sagittarius and Geminis are very talkative, so you guys would have stuff to talk about. So there's that happening. And then on top of that, tomorrow, this is the south node of the moon. And by the way, the peak of it is 6:46 a.m. Eastern time. So again, we are experiencing this behind the scenes of the full moon. We're leading into this with this Venus conjunct south node plus opposing north node. Now, we also have the sun in Sagittarius forming a square with Lilith, Black Moon Lilith, and that's happening at 1:58 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow afternoon, so around almost 2 p.m. Eastern time. So earlier than that, again, if you're out on the West Coast. I should have said, I didn't say this earlier. I had posted, so I assume that you guys saw the post, but maybe not. The peak of the new moon today was at 4:16 a.m. Early Monday morning, so 1:16 a.m. if you're on the West Coast. So I should have said that earlier, and I apologize. But yeah, so we're experiencing this overnight tonight, going into tomorrow. The sun squaring Lilith is not always fun. Sun is in Sagittarius. Lilith is in Virgo. So remember, that can even bring up some darker feelings. Now, Lilith wants to be free, wants to be independent. She's raw, she's primal, and she wants to do her own thing. And that's okay, except if you have, responsibilities, a boss, a spouse, children, and then it's a little hard to do that, right? So Lilith can be like that. And Lilith in Virgo is all about the little nitty details and all the things. So we can get very intense tomorrow about stuff like that. Now, good news is Lilith is very pinpointed. So after tomorrow, we should hopefully feel a lifting. When we get through into the rest of the week, we should feel a lifting with some of that Lilith stuff. But Lilith is a pain. You know, I always talk about Lilith being a little dark, a little creepy. She can just be like that. So we want to watch if we are having those dark thoughts to not like blame others or blame yourself, or, you know, it's just is what it is. It's like we're going through a little bit of a thing. And some of us might not even feel Lilith. Definitely if you are a mutable sign, going back to the Sagittarians, Geminis, Pisces, and Virgos, that crowd might feel it more strongly. And it depends on where Virgo is in your chart, where Lilith is kind of landing in that area of your life. Lilith is in Virgo for 9 months. She's in each sign for 9 months. So we got a long time left with Lilith and Virgo. So that's happening. The peak of that is happening tomorrow as well. So we just want to, like, how do we deal with these? We just want to be cautious. We just want to be mindful. We want to have consciousness. Now, how is it hard to have consciousness? Well, it's hard to have consciousness if you are in halts. Too hungry, angry, lonely, tired, and then the S on the end could be sick or stressed. Okay, so think about, it's like the Snickers commercial, right? Like, you ever see those funny Snickers commercials where basically like someone's hangry and they're grumpy and they turn into a beast and then they eat the Snickers and supposedly they're better. That's kind of the way this is, right? So we tend to have lower consciousness when we are in halts. Halts is an acronym used very commonly in 12-step programs, but I love using halts. I talk about that with my clients. If you're already hungry, angry, lonely, stressed, or tired, or sick or whatever, then that's the time you automatically are not in higher consciousness, even though it's like asking, you ever see like a child that really needs a nap and they're not giving up and they're just having tantrums and they're crying and they're like, I'm fine, I just don't want to go to bed. You know, that type of thing. That child in that moment thinks they're doing the best. And they are. We are always doing the best that we can at that moment, given our tools and our resources. But if we're in halts, then we're not fully at our best. And that is impossible to have a higher consciousness while we're in those things. So what I say is have your moment, have your halt, have your, get a meal, have more sleep, go for a walk, process your feelings, and then go back to it and say, even just knowing that, I think is having a great amount of higher consciousness in that moment. So if you have the moment of halts and you have a conscious awareness that you're in the halt, that's a huge, because a lot of times we don't know. It's like the 2-year-old that really needs the nap. We don't even know we're in it. We don't even know we're in halts, So that's what I would say. And then if you can have the conscious higher awareness, let's say you're not in halts, let's say you're well fed and you had your good sleep and you're actually in a good mood, you can easily get through these times of the planetary stressors much more easily and much more effortlessly than if you're, not doing so well. Wendy Martin said, cancel clear queen. That's, I love that. That's so funny. Oh, okay. Yep. Yes. Yeah. Hello. Oh, hey, Nitty. How are you? Andrea said, oh boy. Yeah. A whole bunch of reasons to take a step back. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to, but unless if you're in halts, or if the other person's in halts, sometimes again, it's hard to have a conversation when the other person's not doing well. They're really tired. They're really grumpy, because then all of a sudden, sometimes especially if you're an empath, you'll become tired and grumpy because you're hanging around with them. So it's a little bit, it's tricky, but we will start to get out of this phase. Now, overnight between Tuesday and Wednesday, going into November 29th, we go out of the Gemini moon totally. So we go into Cancer moon at 1:54 a.m. Eastern time on the 29th. Again, earlier than that, on the West Coast. And so that is something that we will then transition into this Gemini moon or Cancer moon away from Gemini moon. And so we'll be out of the full moon bubble officially by that point on Wednesday. So we got to get through this Monday and Tuesday. And I always say, it's not something to get through. We don't want to get through tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. It's just to be aware, have conscious awareness that this could be a thing, you know, that there's stuff coming up for people, maybe even for yourself, and just have calmness and patience and all that good stuff. So as we go through, there's a couple of more minor planetary transits, which I won't talk about too much on Wednesday, Thursday. I want to get to Friday, because so just so that you know, Wednesday, Thursday, and even Friday starts getting busy. We're going to have a couple quiet days there. So take a minute. Cancer moon time, by the way, is all about nesting. It's all about kind of snuggly, nostalgic. It's a time to like decorate your house for whatever holiday you celebrate and nest and make a nice bowl of soup or something to nurture your soul. So when you think of Gemini, is all about going out and communicating and being busy and disseminating information and spreading the news and doing all that stuff. Well, the Cancer is a little bit about hibernating. So that'll be a little bit of a break, I guess, energetically as well. But we do get into Friday, December 1st. So happy December, everybody. I can't believe we're already, I always say that, but I just feel like it's moving very fast. But okay, so we're getting into when Mercury starts doing its thing. Okay. So Mercury is going to be going retrograde in December of 2023. It'll be the last retrograde of the year, and we'll be ending the year with a Mercury retrograde. So it's going to be in Capricorn. So on December 1st, Friday, December 1st at 9:31 a.m. Eastern time, I always say the time because some people like to write that down. Mercury is going into Capricorn. So now we're in the Capricorn zone because Mercury will be going retrograde on December 13th. So it's getting into that sign. It's entering the sign where it will be retrograding. Okay. So Mercury in Capricorn, it's in an earth sign, and it'll be lighting up your Capricorn area of your astrological chart, wherever that may be. Everybody has all 12 of those signs. Even if you don't have planets there, everybody has all 12. So you have to see what is going on in your chart. Now, if you already know, well, I got a Capricorn moon, or I got a Capricorn Mercury, or I have a Capricorn whatever, it's going to be highlighting that because it's going to be going back, you know, I always call like the windshield wiper effect. It'll be going back and forth around Capricorn. So the peak of it, like I said, is Friday, 9:31 a.m. Eastern time. So 6:31 a.m. if you're out on the West Coast or somewhere in between, you got to do the math. And that's basically what the deal is. So we want to sort of get prepared for that and start backing up our cell phones and planning accordingly. So I'm going to give you the deal with Mercury because, oh no, let me see here. I thought I brought my list. Let me look. I thought I brought it. Yes. Oh, I did. Yay. Go Gretchen. Go Gretchen. I'll make all these post-it notes and things so I can tell you guys the dates because it is hard to remember all this. Okay. So Mercury, because Mercury's in Capricorn, it is usually in each sign for like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Not Capricorn. Now we're getting the extended stay, okay, in Capricorn. So we're going to have Mercury in Capricorn from December 1st all the way until February 5th. So I hope you like Mercury in Capricorn because we're going to be having it for a while, okay? Like 2 full months we're going to be having Mercury in Capricorn. So it's going to be an extended stay because of this whole retrograding thing. Now it will end, Mercury retrograde is going to be active December 13th, 2023 at 2:09 a.m. Eastern time. And it's going to be going direct on January 1st. So we're going to go through New Year's Eve with Mercury retrograde. We're going to start the new year with Mercury retrograde. And then that night on January 1st, 2024, we're going to be at 10:08 p.m. Eastern time. So again, earlier than that, if you're on the West Coast, 7:08 p.m. Pacific time. So we're going to be in that bubble. So write that down. Those are the official Mercury retrograde dates. If you didn't catch that, you can always rewind it after the broadcast is over. And so that is the deal. And so we're in that zone. We're in that bubble now. Oh, thank you, Andrea. Yay, 100 stars. Thank you so much. Yeah, so as we get into Mercury in Capricorn, this is thinking, talking, communicating. Mercury is always that way. Mercury is in, also rules over travel, planes, trains, automobiles, all that kind of stuff. Okay. And we're going to be in a Mercury retrograde during that, what we call the holiday season, during Hanukkah, during Christmas, during the New Year, Kwanzaa, all those holidays are going to be Mercury retrograde, which could be fun. If you think about it, it could really be fun because that will also bring back people from, our past, so that could be a good thing. You could see relatives you haven't seen in a very long time, or meet up with some friends you haven't seen in a really long time. Any kind of thing, reconnection wise, that will be fun. The other thing that Capricorn, because if you think about the ruler of Capricorn is Saturn, it's tradition. Saturn is an old-fashioned kind of guy. He's an old fogey kind of guy, and he likes his old-fashioned traditions. So this is something that could also be fun. We could bring back something from our childhood, something from our past that we maybe want to revisit, not the stuff that maybe is triggering. Hopefully that won't be that, but more of like, oh, my grandma's old dishes, or, like an old kind of memorabilia from that holiday time that you could be spending. And that could be a return to traditions. That's really what I think would be an interesting thing with Capricorn, because Capricorn loves tradition and Saturn loves tradition. And so it's all about traditions, or maybe creating a new tradition. But really, if you think about Mercury being retrograde, that's an old tradition. That's like looking back. And that could be also something that's really nice and could be fun and could be heartfelt and, all that stuff. Now, Capricorn also is about goals. So it is very interesting because we could be returning to some, our tradition in the United States here, especially, is that this is our new year, right? Other places around the world have different other new years, but this is our new year. So we might be thinking about the past and thinking about our goals from the year before, or our goals from a different time, or maybe you want to return to a goal. So we usually set our New Year's resolutions around this time of year. This is when we do it. So I would say start thinking about those goals now. What do you want to do for next year instead of waiting until January 1st? Now, some people don't set goals, and that's totally fine. If that's not your jam. I think it's interesting because Capricorn is goals, and the new year here in the United States starts during Capricorn season, and that's all about setting goals. Like the New Year's resolution comes during Capricorn season. It's just like Scorpio comes in Halloween, or like these other examples that I've given you of planets that are associated with holidays. And so if you think about our New Year time, that's when we do that. So we might be wanting to return to an old goal, but we should start thinking about it now. We have roughly a little bit over like 2.5 weeks before the retrograde starts, maybe 3 weeks before the retrograde starts. So we should be thinking about this now. That's why I like giving you guys the heads up, the 411, what to think about and what to start planning, because yes, we can use this time to plan. This is not the time. So between December 13th and January 1st is not the time to go on new dates with a new person or job interviews or doing different things. So we want to be able to like sort of plan accordingly. Like I'm getting the tire switched over in my car and I'm getting all these things done now, so I'm not waiting. Everybody always asks me, I don't know why, but they're always asking me about dental work. And I personally wouldn't do it during a Mercury retrograde, but sometimes you have to. And if it's an emergency, you got to do what you got to do. But if you can pre-plan for some of this stuff, that's why I like to give you guys the heads up. So Mercury in Capricorn is talking about goals, writing down your goals, writing down like what you want to do. And Capricorn is systems of things. Now, Capricorn is like the government, okay? So it's like rules and regulations and all that. But it's the system of how we do things. It's the system. So basically, it's something that we want to start. You know, we want to look at the system of something. We might want to go back and revisit, like, okay, how do I, you know, do this particular thing? How do I make a new system for work or whatever? The retrograde time is for working out all the kinks. You know, like you can go, oh, I did a dry run on this system and it's not working at all. I got to go back and revise it. So that's going to be the kind of the what we're doing here. So we could even start implementing something new now and then work out the kinks during the retrograde time. That's a good way to use a retrograde, actually, a positive way to use it within your favor. But this is basically what the deal is. So our systems could be our system for getting ready for work. It could be a system of how you file your taxes, or, you know, it could be any kind of a system, you know, and really it's a methodology, right, of how you do things. And Capricorn likes it to be quick, efficient, let's not waste time, all that kind of stuff. And that's the deal. Holly asked if we are in the retrograde pre-shadow. Not yet, but we are getting there, you know, while I'm talking about all this. So yeah, so we are not yet, but I remember too, I think the pre-shadow thing is definitely useful to know. But remember, some people I just want to clarify, because some people have been asked this before. Some people think that they should start doing all their Mercury retrograde stuff even during the pre-shadow, like not scheduling appointments and doing this. No. If we did that, if we did the whole retrograde and the pre-shadow time, we'd be in the majority of the year not doing things. And that's not the way we want to live. We just want to have a kind of conscious awareness that, it's starting to slow down. Mercury's starting to slow down. We can feel that slowing down. And that's good to know. That's good to have that conscious awareness so that we can go, okay, you know. So yeah, so yes, Holly, to answer your question, we're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. We are. So that's why I'm giving you the heads up that we're getting to the pre-shadow time. And really what we're talking about is the time where it starts slowing down and kind of getting wonky and stuff starts to go a little weird. And it's like, and I'll start getting, like a week before, I'll start getting calls like, is it retrograde yet? Because it feels like it is. And it's like, no, but it's just starting to slow down. I always feel it more when it slows down, like kind of in that first week or two versus when it's like active. I don't know why, but I always feel that way. It's something. So if you have Capricorn in your chart, where's Capricorn? And that's going to start, like I said, this Friday coming up. Hasn't even entered Capricorn yet until Friday morning. So yeah, so we have some stuff to work on. Saturday is kind of quiet-ish. Speaking of Saturn, we have Mercury now in Capricorn, forming a positive sextile with Saturn. Saturn is Capricorn's ruler. Saturn's in Pisces right now. And that's coming on Saturday morning at 10:27 a.m. Eastern time. Whenever this happens, Mercury forming a sextile. Sextiles are positive. That could be very good. It's about slowing down our communication, because remember, Saturn is like a little slow, likes to be deliberate. And it's not talking. It's being more deliberate about our talking. You know, this is what Capricorn Mercury is going to be about. It's about less words, bullet points. You know, let's say bullet points. And so that's going to be starting right out of the gate. As soon as Mercury goes into Capricorn, it's going to hit its ruling planet, Saturn, the next day. So we could feel a slowdown of communication. Also, sometimes when Mercury and Saturn and Saturn get together, that's about talking to a few trusted people instead of like blah, 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 blah. It's more about like, I just want to talk to this one person. You know, it's more being more deliberate. The problem comes on Sunday. Sunday is looking kind of ugly. I'm just going to say it out loud on December 3rd. We have a lot of good stuff, okay, that's happening between now and then. But Sunday, Sunday's a little ouchy, and we could start feeling that earlier than that. So I just want to make sure that you understand that, it's not just Sunday, it's going to be leading up to Sunday. Okay, so the rundown on Sunday is Jupiter is going to form a trine with Lilith. Mars is going to square Lilith, ouch. Venus is going to square Pluto, ouch. And then Mars is going to quincunx Jupiter, ouch. That is going to be that's 4 major big deal things going on Sunday, and it's going to be all throughout the day. So this energy is ouchy, especially with this. All right, Venus square Pluto, that can be jealousy. Lilith is jealousy. Lilith is a lot of jealousy energy. So Jupiter makes Lilith bigger. Now, a trine is positive, I guess, if you look at, but I always say look at the players. So we got Jupiter retrograde in Taurus, trine Lilith in Virgo. We have Mars in Sagittarius squaring Lilith in Virgo. Let's see, we got Venus in Libra squaring Pluto in Capricorn. And then we have Mars in Sagittarius forming a quincunx with Jupiter, okay, which is in Taurus. That's a lot of energy. That's a lot of stuff right there. That's like anger. That can be jealousy. Lilith and Pluto both in the same day. I always say Lilith is Mrs. Pluto. So if Pluto is like the Lord of the underworld, then she's Mrs. Pluto. So there could be a lot of kind of stuff going on, intensity as we get into next weekend. There's this intense energy on Sunday. So yeah, for sure Sunday, I wouldn't get into all the, stuff. Don't jump to conclusions, okay, if you're in a relationship, because this can be a lot of jealous energy, obsession. This can be compulsive energy. This could be, like a pit bull with a bone. It's like you just want to chew on that thing. That's going to be happening this whole, like I said, weekend leading up to. So when it gets intense like that, and it can get dark, and sometimes when we get dark, again, is that people always ask, is that good or bad? Is that good or bad? Gretchen, is that good or bad? Well, it could produce triggers, which could bring up something that could be ready to heal, which could feel bad, but in the long run is really good. So see, I can't answer is this good or bad. Now, I will say this, that could be another weekend of violence. I'll just say on the news, and God forbid, cancel clear. But that could be definitely an intense time, because I have noticed during Pluto and Lilith times that people with mental illness, people with drug addictions or alcohol addictions, people with just those types of tendencies, if you already have a lot of like anxiety or depression, it gets more intense, and then those people can go out and hurt other people. It seems like what happens, but everyday run-of-the-mill people that don't really struggle as much with some of that stuff, it could just be like a bump in the road, but I just like to give you the heads up for that. Now, it is transformative. I mean, this is definitely deep for like soul work and going really deep into the shadow work and looking at your, stuff and why do I even do this stuff? I can't even, and it's like all that kind of stuff, this self like analysis. But the problem with these planets is it can tip into more of like, I suck. And that's cancel clear, right? We don't want to do that. We don't want to go into that looking at ourselves in such a negative, that's just a negative lens that we're looking at. If we look at it and say, I was doing the best I could at that time, or maybe the other person didn't mean to hurt me. Maybe they were doing the best they could and they were in halt, too hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, and they were lashing out at me, and maybe they didn't mean it, So this is something to be just have a mindfulness and awareness around it, and treat yourself with kindness. I always say all these messages are treating yourself with kindness, right? Because that's all we can really do. Even at our worst, we're still doing the best we think we're doing the best we can. So giving yourself a break, not sort of spiraling and just, why would we want to assume the worst about ourselves, but we do it. And I'm, it's just something that happens. I can't remember, there was a study that was done that like really showed the majority of our self-thought is usually more negative. It's typically our self-talk and our self-thoughts it tends toward, it's never like, God, I'm just so amazing. I just nail things and I am just so good and talented. It's never in fact, our culture kind of shames people for doing that. It's like, well, aren't you overly confident, or aren't you a little narcissistic or selfish? It's like, but I think we need to tell ourselves more like things like that. I really do. I think we need to like build ourselves up and say, you know what? I'm pretty darn whatever, talented, beautiful, smart, sexy, whatever the thing is, because we do tend to like talk so badly and mean to ourselves. Like if you heard somebody talk to somebody else like that, you would be like, hey, lay off of that person. But no, that's how we're talking to ourselves. So it is something, yeah, Wendy, that's a great point. Wendy said you can be humble and proud of yourself at the same time. Of course, absolutely. It's like, I don't know. I just think that we need to be more kind to ourselves. And yeah, we can say, I did a great job, like, we can say that about ourselves and not be considered to be these words. It's a little bit of a funny, tricky message that society even sends to us. It's like with men, it's like, don't men, you need to be more sensitive. And then when a guy cries, it's like, guy is so weak. It's like, no, you just, we tend to do that. We tend to send mixed messages, but we tend to send mixed messages about ourselves. So it is a delicate balance, but I really feel that we can talk to ourselves in a positive way and not necessarily take it to the extremes of like, I'm so amazing and I'm the best thing since sliced bread, but we can give ourselves the credit that we deserve for sure. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine to do that. I don't know exactly. You don't care. Somebody said they don't like conceit in yourself. I'm not sure what that means, but I definitely, it's not about having conceit. Telling yourself that you did a good job, telling yourself that you look really good that day, telling yourself that you have so many charming attributes is a wonderful thing to do. I think we should be able to do that more often and give ourselves that self-talk, because otherwise we're believing that other self-talk, the negative self-talk. We've been telling ourselves that we suck and we're no good and all these things so much, and it's just it's not fun. It's not fun. Self-appreciation, yes, that's a good word. I like that. I like it. Yeah, you can pat yourself on the back. Give yourself some credit. You're doing the best you can, and that's all you can do. And so, yeah, so when we have these sort of rough times and these intense emotions, why are we so identifying with them? Why are we letting those emotions define us? We can just let the emotion surge through us like almost like a storm surge, and then let it pass through. It doesn't have to be like that we attach ourselves to that. It's hard. It's I was given the analogy one time and I thought that this might help. Feelings and emotions should not be driving the car, but they shouldn't be in the trunk either. They should be more in like the back seat, they're not like ruling us and they're not driving us crazy and they're not doing all that, but we're not stuffing them down either. They're a passenger in the car, but they're not like the main deal. We get to decide what we are going to do. And the feelings, we're not slaves to our feelings. That's what this Pluto and Lilith thing is, very much about, is like a slavery master kind of situation when it comes to feelings. But feelings are just a feeling. You're going to have another feeling in 10 minutes. I guarantee it, or next week or next month, our feelings definitely fluctuate. So we can't overly identify with, these feelings, because it is what it is. Yeah. Why are we so kind to our friends when we're so rough on ourselves? Exactly, Wendy. We should be our own best friends. Exactly. And if you would say to your best friend, hey, you're beautiful, why would you not say that to yourself? And why would you call it conceit? It's not conceited. It's just saying, hey, I'm beautiful. And it doesn't mean I'm more or less than you are. It just means that you're happy with yourself in that moment. See? So it's nuanced, but I hope you guys get what I'm laying down. All right, so that is this week in astrology. A lot of energy. We have some quiet days. Wednesday, Thursdays, like kind of our more quiet time, especially after that moon goes into Cancer. Cancer's more of a kind of chill out, be home, you know, be snuggly. So, but yeah, we have a lot of energy. So we had the full moon today, and then we have some dark sort of stuff coming on tomorrow. Venus opposing the North Node, conjunct South Node. We have the Sun squaring Lilith on Tuesday. Those two are both happening tomorrow, early in the day, but we're feeling it now. And then Wednesday, Thursday, like I said, is more quiet. Friday gets a little bit more busy with Mercury going into Capricorn. The next day on Saturday, we have Mercury meeting up with Saturn. So we're going to be more pinpointed in our discussions, and they are going to need to mean something because that's what Saturn likes. But then that ouchie spot for sure is Sunday. And Sunday is really a doozy. And we could feel that in the days coming up to that. So, you know, maybe a little bit coming into like Friday and then Saturday, Sunday. So hopefully not. I mean, hopefully that's a good time for you and that you just have a couple little intense moments and then you're good. And that's basically what the deal is. Now, I will say this next week, I'm going to see you after the fact, but on Monday night, afternoon next week, Venus is going to move into Scorpio. Venus has been a little bit behind the pack. Okay. So she's just now moving into Scorpio. So we're going to have a little bit of a return of Scorpio-ness. And that's going to happen on Monday, December 4th at 1:51 p.m. I'm going to go into that more in depth next week when I see you guys on Monday night. And now I'm ready to answer any questions that you guys may have. I can see some people are queuing up their questions already. I do pick just a few because I only have time for a few, and what the universe guides me towards. Yes, so I'm going to use this. I like to use my calendar as a table on my lap here. Okay, we're very high tech over here. All right, let's see. Okay, somebody said something about, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Ashley Jean said, could you please pull a card for your best friend who's having fertility issues and received hard news today? Our love and support and our energy goes out to your friend, Ashley Jean. Yeah. And you know, Ashley Jean, it doesn't even feel like the first time. Sorry to say that. But she got the best card. She got the best card you could get for this answer. That was my pull. Try again and you will succeed. That's the card. Literally, that's the card I called. It's called the Scepter. And that's what this is. Kings, Queens, Knights got the Scepter for a battle that was fought, but it was won. Now, it was a battle and it was hard and they had to put a lot of effort and energy into it, but they got it because they kept trying and trying and trying and trying. And this is like literally the best card you get. I have chills. So yeah, it doesn't feel like it's the first time, but you know what? A lot of times it'll be the same soul that sort of tries to come in, you know, into, it's fascinating how that happens, but a lot of times it'll be the same, soul trying to come in. They might not be ready. There might have been a disfigurement or deformity that they didn't want to deal with in this life. So sometimes they'll be like, well, I'm not doing that, you know, I wanted to have my right foot, and in this life it wouldn't have happened, so I'm going to come in on a different body. Sometimes they'll do that. So I would just say, hang in there to your friend. She got the very best card you can get. And so we're giving her lots of love and support of energy. And if she wants to watch this video, you can tell her to look at it if you would like. But that's, I'm not even going to pull another card because that's the perfect card, like perfect card. Yes. Ashley Ann, you want a card for a vending thing that you're doing on the day there might be some stuff. Okay, let's look at Ashley Ann's day for that. Yeah, you have a lot of anxiety, Ashley Ann. This was literally the card of anxiety, Ashley Ann. So you have a lot of that's a feeling card. So remember, again, we don't have to be ruled by our feelings. Anxiety is not a fact, you know, it's just a feeling. So I want to look a little bit more deeply. Yeah, I mean, you have some real reasons to be, you know, feeling that way. I don't want to discredit your feelings. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying that it might not be as bad as you're thinking, because you have no trust for the situation. There's like, it's like you're getting this card as like you don't trust maybe the people involved or something. But actually it's saying that there's going to be a turn for the better here. This is the Wheel of Fortune. So it might exceed your expectations. Like if you have really low expectations, this might exceed your expectations. Okay. I would say definitely have a little bit low expectations for that. Are these people your best friend? No, I don't think so. She needs to know. See, this is beautiful. Ashley Ann, this is the card for you. This is like a beautiful card. Share your art with the world. Share your art with the world. It's time to allow others to enjoy your creative work. Stick with, you know, I know you said on the post that you're revisiting a place where there's some family stuff and trauma and things. So I can see why you're anxious, and I can see why you don't maybe trust that or trust those people, but it's saying you're going to have better time maybe than you thought. And also that you're going to be sharing your art with the world, which is where you should place your focus, not on the trauma, not on the people, not on that. Just place your focus on getting your art out there. I hope that helps. Okay. Yes, a lot of people are sending prayers. Thank you so much. That's awesome. I can't, yeah. Oh, thank you. Lauren, you said you shared me to your page. Oh, that's so awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Lauren. I'm going to give you a thank you so much. Juliet, you got stars, 100 stars. Thank you so much. Andrea said pull a card for the week. All right. I'm going to pull a card for the week, and then I'm going to okay, hold on. Pull a card for the week. So what does Andrea need to know? I feel like there's that over-identifying. Look at Andrea. You got the perfect card too. Wow, you guys are getting the perfect cards tonight. Keep going. Keep going, Andrea. Use the energy of any disappointments to fuel your creative project with authentic emotion. You know, sometimes, you know, I have talked about this in sessions, but I'll say it for the sake of the broadcast. You know, if you look at the emotional scale, and if you look at like anger is not at the bottom. At the bottom is shame and fear and depression. That's all bottom stuff. But actually, if you go up a little bit on the emotional scale, anger can fuel us. Like we can get really pissed off about the starving children in Africa and do something about it. Form a foundation, get fired up. You know, so use disappointments to fuel. Okay? Because it's just energy. I know we like to judge energy. We say good or bad. Is it good or bad? No, it just is. It's just energy. And it probably just needs to be moved or utilized in some way that we haven't tapped into, like creativity or sexuality or something fun, you know? Let's do it. Something fun. Lauren said, thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Lauren. You are awesome. Nitty. Okay. Any insight on whether your husband will find a job? Oh, no. Really? All right, let's see. Try to tell him to go out before Mercury Retrograde is starting here. Oh boy, you got the anxiety card too, Nitty. That card just fell out. I didn't pull that. That just fell out of the deck. So, okay. There's a lot of talk in this person's mind, a self-talk, that they're too old. There's like an age factor, like at my age, I'm too old for this. This is like, you know, like I'm hearing like all this ageism stuff, like almost a self-judgment though. Again, what we were talking about where we judge ourselves, there's some kind of an age thing I'm hearing in his head. So he might not have shared that with you, but I'm just telling you that's going on behind the scenes. That's not a fact either, right? That's just a feeling. That's just something we're telling ourselves. he needed to leave that job anyway, to be honest with you, because he's going to get something better. I actually think this other thing is way better. I don't exactly know what this is, and obviously this is not a private session, but I feel like there's going to be maybe multiple job offers, or he's going to go to multiple places. Like maybe they have 2 branches, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast, and he has to travel, or there's something. But I actually see more money for him. It's a better setup. So, you know, I always tell you guys, if you need to get out of a situation that's not good, whether it be a job or a relationship or something, and then you know, basically the universe decides for us because we didn't make that decision ourselves, it's never going to be, you know, what we necessarily would have chosen as the timing and everything. Although I would just say all timing is divine timing. Okay. So I will just say that. I will just say, I think he's going to have multiple opportunities. He's going to get more money. And this is a blessing in disguise. And I actually think he needed a little bit of a break because he felt like he was tired to me, and he felt like he hasn't really taken much time off. And I felt like that it was like expired milk in your refrigerator. It's like tomorrow, if you sniff it, is it going to be any less expired? No, it's going to be more expired. So it's like, why didn't we throw that away earlier? You know, so that's kind of how I felt with that job. That job was expired milk, and it was not getting any fresher by the day. It was getting less, you know, not more. So I hope that helps. Oh, thank you, Wendy Martin. You guys are awesome. I really, like, I'm so blessed that I have like the best people that watch. Thank you, Roz. You guys are awesome. Let's see here. I don't know if I missed somebody. I feel like I might have, but I can't see from the scrolling back. But anyway, I am going to pull a card for the week. What do we need to know this week to navigate this kind of wonky roller coaster style of energy? What do we need to know? Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, okay. That sounds about right. Okay. We have the Tower and the Moon fell out. I didn't even pull that. So a Tower moment. Let's talk about the Tower and let's talk about the Moon. And then I'm going to pull another angel card. Let me just, actually, I'm going to do that right now. Let me see. I want to pull one more because the Tower card is kind of stuff that we've been talking about. Let me look. What do I need to know? Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, look, you know what? It's almost like Niddy's husband in a way. The Tower card, okay, you guys, it's hard to see, but there's like a little guy falling, or woman, I don't know. But this person built this tower to keep themselves safe, and then a lightning bolt came and the tower is crumbling down. The person's like, falling. And then the Moon card is a confusion in our subconscious, in our unconscious, trying to make sense of it all, in our feelings, right? And again, this is all this feeling stuff. The Tower is often an unwanted kind of blip or disruption in our life, or something that it's like change, but it's like, ouchie a little bit. So that's going on. But I also pulled another card, and I am pulling this card. It's an angel deck, but this is the card of miracle. Okay, this is the card of miracle. So it's saying that it's not all terrible, that it's almost like with Niddy's husband. Like sometimes we will curse that thing, like, you know, got fired from the job, or like, you know, something like, you know, missed my bus, or, you know, whatever. And then actually it ended up being a fortuitous thing in the long run. Like, okay, you left a little late, you know, but you missed an accident or something happened where we can really be able to embrace it as, actually, this was a blessing in disguise. But we don't see that at first. At first, with the Tower and especially the Moon being in our feelings and feeling raw and, you know, that we will be able to, it'll be dark at first, and then we'll be able to see the light. But it'll take a little while to see the light. So it's not saying it's all terrible. Again, and anything that, you know, Pluto, Lilith, you know, they can feel dark. So I would say that whatever is the perceived thing at the time, just remember the blessings and the gifts that it may actually in fact contain, and that we have to look at that. Blessings of the situation resonates completely. Yes. Thank you, Lauren. Yes. Yes. Exactly. So a lot of people are commenting about that. Yeah, I mean, it is, we have sometimes these moments, and that can be something that is, I'm not saying it's light. It feels that those cards are dark and, heavy a little bit, but then right after is the blessing card. So that to me means it's not all, let's look one more. And that we need to be wise, have wisdom, wise decision, guardian angel card. We need to have some wisdom. There's an owl here she's holding. So see, again, that means we need to get into our higher mindedness, our higher consciousness. And the owl helps us to see clearly. Because that moon card says we're not seeing clearly. We're in the halts. Too hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Right. Yes, our universe. I love that, Wendy. Trust that the universe has your back. I always say my angels are always protecting me. My angels always help me. I mean, I say that all the time, every day, and they do. So I hope that helps everybody. So again, if you would like to have a personalized astrological session, please feel free to send me a text message is the best, or a DM. And it helps me to get the algorithm rolling. If you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, I really appreciate everybody. And yes, Almir, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. And remember, we're going to be feeling the feelings, but feelings are not facts. And we get to decide how we feel. We get to tell ourselves how we're going to feel and what the deal is. All right, everybody, lots of love, light, support. We can do this. And if you guys need a little extra help, call me for an astrological session. And yeah, take care. Have a great week. Namaste. Bye.